Ever feel like that hour lost to springing forward, like it's a personal? Ever feel like that hour, if we could just, stop changing our clocks? Well, that's what we're diving into today, daylight saving time, especially here in Oregon. When does it start? When does it end? And will it ever become permanent? If you're into this kind of deep dive stuff, hit that like button and subscribe. You won't regret it. First things first, get ready to spring forward on Sunday, March 9th at 2 a.m. I know losing that hour of sleep is rough, but hey, at least we get more daylight in the evenings, right? For all those awesome Oregon outdoor adventures and things. Then we fall back on Sunday, November 2nd. Savor that extra hour of sleep while it lasts. So why do we even bother with this daylight saving time bans? The main idea is to make the most of daylight during spring and summer evenings, more time for beauty cues, hikes, maybe even some late night gardening. Basically, we're trying to use less artificial light. That's pretty good, right? But here's where things get interesting. Oregon actually passed the law back in 2019 to make daylight saving time permanent. No more clock changing chaos, right? Well, not so fast. Turns out there's a catch. It needs approval from Congress. And Congress, they haven't exactly been quick on the draw with this one. In 2023, Senator Ron Wyden, our very own senator, he reintroduced the Sunshine Protection Act to make daylight saving time permanent nationwide and even passed the Senate. But it's been stuck in the House ever since. Classic political gridlock, am I right? Now, while most of the U.S. is going back and forth with the clocks, a few states are doing their own thing. Hawaii and Arizona just said nope to daylight saving time. They decided to stick with standard time year-round. Makes you wonder, but they know that we don't, huh? And here's a little wrinkle. The Navajo Nation, which is located within Arizona, it actually does observe daylight saving time. Talk about time warp within a state. It's like a little island of DST in a sea of standard time. To understand all this, we need to go back in time, way back. Daylight saving time was first implemented in the U.S. during World War I, back in 1918. It was a way to conserve fuel during wartime. They brought it back during World War II for the same reason. It even became permanent for a short period, from 1973 to 1975, to cope with the oil crisis. Imagine that, permanent daylight saving time. But it wasn't very popular and was repealed in 74. I guess people just weren't ready for year-round sunshine. Then in 1966, Congress stepped in to create some order out of the time chaos. They passed the Uniform Time Act, which standardized how daylight saving time works across the country. Take a look like the rule book for changing our clocks. And the dates we use today, that second Sunday of March and the first Sunday of November, those were set in 2005 when Congress decided to, tweak the Uniform Time Act. Now the Department of Transportation, the other ones who oversee daylight saving time, they claim it saves energy, prevents traffic accidents, it even reduces crime. It sounds pretty great, right? But bros, clean's really true? It's something to think about. Oh, and a quick PSA for all my fellow grammar enthusiasts out there. It's daylight saving time, not daylight savings time. Spread the word. So, will permanent daylight saving time ever become a reality with all this back and forth? As of now, it's still up in the air, even though it has support from big names like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It needs Congress to take action. They can either change the Uniform Time Act or pass new legislation. But so far, nothing's happened. Oregon even tried a different approach. In 2024, they tried to go for permanent standard time, but that bill failed. Then, in 2025, they proposed a bill that would allow Oregon to adopt permanent standard time. Only if California and Washington followed suit within 10 years. Talk about a West Coast time alliance. It's interesting. We're all in this together. The most interesting part, over 20 states have already passed legislation for permanent daylight saving time. They're just waiting for Congress to give them thumbs up. Could this be the start of a nationwide shift towards year-round sunshine? Only time will tell. And speaking of the sunshine-loving states, let's rattle off a few, shall we? We got Washington, California, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Maine, Delaware, and of course our very own Oregon. That's a whole lot of states ready to ditch the clock-changing routine. Now, before we jump into the arguments for and against permanent daylight saving time, and trust me, things are about to get interesting. Let's take a quick pause. If you're finding this deep dive as fascinating as I am, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more. We'll be right back. All right, we're back and ready to tackle the heart of the matter. Why are so many people eager to ditch the clock-changing routine and embrace permanent daylight saving time? What's the big appeal? Well, one of the biggest arguments in favor of permanent DST is all about the economy. Think about it. Those extended evening hours of daylight mean more time for people to be out and about, spending money, more time for shopping, dining out, catching a movie, or hitting the golf course. Businesses love it. And it's not just, retail and restaurants that benefit. The leisure and recreation industries will likely see a boost too. More daylight equals more time for folks to get out there and enjoy, like outdoor activities, parks, beaches, hiking trails. They'd all be bustling with activity well into the evening. But it goes beyond just fun and games. Some studies even suggest that permanent DST could lead to a decrease in traffic accidents and crime rates. The idea is that more daylight in the evening hours means better visibility for drivers and a greater sense of security for everyone. Now, whether those studies are completely accurate is up for debate, but it's definitely something to consider. Of course, it wouldn't be a fair deep dive if we didn't explore the other side of the coin. There's some compelling arguments against permanent DST as well. One of the main concerns is the potential impact on our health, specifically our sleep. Messing with our sleep patterns by springing forward and falling back can disrupt our circadian rhythms, those internal clocks that regulate our sleep-wake cycles. And where circadian rhythms are out of whack, it can lead to all sorts of problems. Mood changes, difficulty concentrating, even an increased risk of certain health issues. Not good. And imagine this. If we were like permanent DST, sunrise would be much later during the winter months. That means a lot of people would be heading to work or school in darkness. Not exactly the most uplifting way to start the day, right? Opponents also worry about the possibility of increased energy consumption. Sure, we might use less lighting in the evenings, but think about those like dark winter mornings. We'd be cranking up the heat and flipping on the lights much earlier, potentially offsetting any energy savings we might gain in the evenings. And let's not forget about our furry friends and those hardworking farmers. Animals might have trouble adjusting to the shifted daylight hours, and farmers could face challenges with their livestock and crops. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation, that's for sure. So you can see there are strong arguments on both sides. It's a complex issue with potential pros and cons that we need to weigh carefully. It's not as simple as just choosing more sunshine, unfortunately. Now, remember that 2025 bill in Oregon we talked about earlier? Well, it would let Oregon adopt permanent standard time. If California and Washington jumped on board too, that actually sparks an interesting thought. What if instead of going it alone, Oregon teamed up with its West Coast neighbors to create a unified time zone? Imagine California, Oregon, and Washington, all on the same page, all enjoying the benefits of either permanent DST or permanent standard time. No more confusion, no more clock changing craziness, just a consistent, synchronized time zone all along the Pacific Coast. Now, whether this West Coast time alliance will actually happen is still up in the air, but it's a fascinating idea, isn't it? Potential solution that could bring harmony to the West Coast time zone and maybe even set an example for other regions to follow. So there you have it, the saga of daylight saving time in Oregon, a story of political maneuvering, passionate debates, and the ongoing search for the perfect balance between sunshine and sleep. We've covered a lot of ground today, but there's one more crucial question I want to leave you with. We'll dive into that right after a quick message. Don't go anywhere. We're back, and it's time to get personal. If you had the power to decide, would you choose permanent standard time or permanent daylight saving time? Or, stick with the status quo? Keep switching back and forth. It's a question we all face, isn't it? What factors would you consider? Would it be the potential economic benefits, or maybe the impact on your health and well-being, or perhaps just the simple convenience of like a consistent time schedule? Maybe you're a night owl who loves those long summer evenings, or maybe you're an early bird who thrives in those like quiet, dark mornings. Whatever your preference, your voice matters in this debate. So do your research, think about the arguments, and let your elected officials know what you think. After all, the future of time in Oregon is in our hands. And that, my friends, brings our deep dive into daylight saving time to a close. I hope you found it enlightening, maybe even a little thought-provoking. Remember, if you enjoyed this exploration, be sure to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more fascinating deep dives into the topics that matter. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those clocks ticking.